Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Osaze Joshua Basekio-Seregi. I work with Laplage Metaverse. I'm so excited to have you here on Zoom. We have two distinguished personalities here that will be talking to us about public speaking and digital journalism. We're calling them to talk briefly about themselves, just 2 minutes about themselves. Though I've sent their profiles to the class, you can have a copy of that in your class, but let them say it themselves. Over to you, to Dr. Lome, for you just have 2 minutes to tell us about yourself, who you are, before we move into the program properly. You can unmute yourself, sir.
All right, thank you, Dr. Saze. Yes, my name is Dr. Lome. I am a lecturer with the International Institute of Journalism. I trained in journalism. I also train journalists. I trained in a number of other things. I am a social psychologist. I also trained in a public administration. But journalism remains my forte and my passion. And that is where I spend most of my time. I write, I teach, I research. And that is just a summary of who I am. If you need to know more, just look at my profile. You can also ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lome, for there's no doubt that you are a giant in your chosen career. I'll be moving over to Mrs. Ikalon Udo, the communication guru. Over to you, Madam. Just in 2 minutes, tell us about yourself.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Osaze. My name is Ikalon Udo. I am very delighted to be here. Thank you, Doctor, for the opportunity to be here. I am a communications expert. I'm a PR consultant. I am a distinguished Toastmaster, which is the highest position or the highest level anyone can reach in the international world's public speaking body. So I'm very delighted to be here. Thank you so much, Dr. Osaze. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we want to start with, but first of all, because before we start, I want to let everybody know that getting engaged in digital communication in your workplace is something that is becoming a must for everybody. Basically, no matter what you do, no matter where you serve, you just need to understand how to communicate digitally, whether you're a pastor, you're a imam, you are a parent at home, teacher in the school, no matter what. In fact, even native doctors, I understand now, communicate digitally. So you just need to be part of it. Otherwise, you just discover that you are no longer functioning. Like I used to tell a lot of my students that the definition of illiteracy has changed, and it has changed from not someone that cannot read and write, but to someone that cannot communicate digitally. So if you can read and write and you cannot communicate digitally, then you cannot even find yourself amongst people that can communicate digitally, whether they are well-read or not. So the whole definition has changed. And thank God that we're making inroad into helping people understand how to communicate digitally. Over to you, Dr. Lomifo. Just in a very brief manner, just tell us about journalism. What is journalism all about? Before we start even going into digital journalism. You can unmute yourself, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Saze, once more. Yes, I think it is important we start with refreshing ourselves with the concept of journalism itself. Basically, let's avoid the jargons and things that will further confuse us. Journalism is about information dissemination. And this time, it goes beyond information, it's specialized information in the sense that it is aimed at communicating that information in a way as to make sense. The sense we are talking about here is news sense, reportage sense, information sense, entertainment sense, and the education sense. In other words, journalism is not just passing information across. the information has to be processed. The information has to be packaged in a way as to make it appear like a report, appear like news, appear like not just information. It should also be able to educate. It should be able to entertain if need be. Traditionally, over time, growing up, we have come to know what we call the mainstream media. You know, the print, your usual newspapers, your magazines, and of course, the electronic media. The electronic here can be broadly broken into two, into TV and radio. And now we are going beyond because the world is changing. The world is digitalizing and digitizing. And the wall separating, because before you and I know that a radio broadcaster, only the voice is what you hear. But that was then. Now, you no longer have only, in fact, the wall is gone completely, because you can see the radio broadcaster and hear the radio broadcaster. And these are characteristics of what you call a TV broadcast journalism. So the frontiers are being broken, and then with the walls falling apart, a new way of journalism is now emerging, and that is what we now call online journalism or digital journalism. That's the summary of what journalism is and what it intends to achieve. So if I can go into the digital journalism, I would want to go, if I'm permitted to proceed on that.
Okay, thank you very much. I want that the first one to simmer down so that people can absorb it while you get ready to talk about digital journalism. Digital journalism, like we all studied in the class, is one area of journalism that is becoming there for almost everyone to come in, especially if you are trained. Sir, when you tell us a bit about digital journalism, I want you to also quickly add how we can go and how journalists can go into the practice of digital journalism, how they can add it to their current mainstream section of journalism, how newcomers can come into the system, and how lucrative it is for people to join. You can throw more light into that area.
Yes, I think first and foremost, let us refresh ourselves on the concept of digital journalism. Already I told you, another way of looking at it is seeing digital journalism as online journalism, citizen journalism, a new form of journalism. The kind of journalism that is now done online, the kind of journalism you do on the internet. In other words, it's not the traditional media process, the way you have your magazines, the newspapers, the TVs. Now, all these features of news and reports are now done online. In other words, if you understand that you can go beyond, or rather utilize the opportunity of using what you call digital tools, you can practice journalism in that way. In other words, the internet, which connects the entire world, the entire globe, can become your canvas. You can connect to everybody. As long as you have something newsworthy, you have something worth communicating, and you have access to digital tools, a smartphone, access to internet, a tablet, a desktop or a laptop, you are good to go. All you now need to do is to find the platforms where you can pass whatever information that you have to pass. What this means is that you can, even as a citizen, participate effectively. And of course, this has also produced what you now call citizen journalism. That is to say, every citizen is a potential journalist. Because if you look at the basic definition of journalism, which is passing information, processing and passing information from from yourself to another person or to an audience, to a group, or even to the world, you discover that once you have access to the internet and you have something to communicate and communicating, you are actually in the business of digital journalism. In fact, anytime at all that you are holding your smartphone and you are sending a message to more than one person, you are actually into a kind of broadcast. You are sending, if you are on WhatsApp, if you are on Instagram, on Facebook, YouTube, and the intention is to reach more than one person, it has become a broadcast. It has become online journalism. And that is why we worry about training. And I believe that this is what persuaded Dr. Osaze to call some of you into this class, so that we begin to look at the issues of ethics, the issues of professionalism. Because it is true that you have your smartphone, you have your laptop, you have your tablets and all that. But yet, that doesn't make you a journalist. You need to be trained in it so that you will understand the responsibilities. Let me draw your attention to something that is very crucial here. If you go to the 1999 Constitution, you will see that the media, journalists, are the only professionals that are assigned a role of holding government accountable to the people. This is a huge responsibility. What that means is that you and I, who are practitioners, must know how to do the job of holding government accountable. You know, when you are talking about online journalism, it has made our work a lot easier, because it means that we no longer have the boundaries. We can reach to the end of the world. That is an advantage, but that also adds to our responsibility. It means that the issue of ethics of the profession is very crucial. You need to be sure that if you send out any information there, that the information is real. It's one of our ethics of the profession. We tell you in the journalism class, if you are not sure of any information, leave it out. Don't go into it. In other words, what you need to do is to ensure that what you are putting out there is truthful. And again, even when it is truthful, you also need to consider the implication, the recipients, the audience. If it is a kind of information that has a national security implication, you may have to modify. Hello? Yeah? Hello?
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were calling my attention. I was drawing our attention.
Let me mute everybody, please.
Yeah. You know, I am drawing attention.
You can unmute yourself, sir. You can unmute yourself.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay. I believe I'm back on here now.
Yes.
You know, I was calling our attention to our constitutional responsibility that the 1999 Constitution assigns to the journalists, to the media, the role of holding government accountable. That's very important, accountable to the people. What that means is that we have a huge authority, a huge responsibility, and we have to utilize that assigned responsibility with a measure of patriotism. Yes, a sense of patriotism, a sense of responsibility. If you understand the enormity of what we have before us, what is expected of us, the Nigerian masses, the Nigerian government, all of them, journalists will have to really wake up. And with the coming of the netizen journalism, the online journalism, or what you call digital journalism, our scope has been broadened. whatever we write and drop anywhere now can get to the end of the world. It can be shared by other people. The other day, there was a little article I wrote on Illuminati. I was surprised to find that article in Russian sites, UK, US, everywhere. A very simple article. You can see that once it left me, I was no longer in a position to control it. So you understand that you don't just put out information there when you are not sure of the veracity, you are not sure of the authenticity. And this brings me to the issue of fake news. Fake news is enhanced by digital journalism because our tools are very simple, easy to come by, and every other person can come into it. It is the duty of those of us who are professionals, those who are intending professionals, to ensure that we even teach others that this is how you pass information. Because if you come to the issue of national security, an information may be truthful. The fact that it is truthful is not enough for you to just pass it. It can damage a lot. There is something that you will drop out there and it goes viral. Nigeria can go up in flames. It's as serious as that. Digital journalism has a way of ensuring that such things happen, and that is where fake news comes in. But I'm even saying that even where the news is not fake, we still have to tread with caution. We need to think about who will receive the news. Is it fair to all concerned? Will it really lead to unity, development, happiness? Yes, we need to disseminate information. We need to tell the world what is going on, but we also have to tell them, tell the world, tell the citizens the news in a way and manner that it will be received and it will be useful to them. It will lead to happiness. It will lead to growth. It will lead to unity, lead to more understanding. These things are very important. One more thing I need to really touch before I hang up is this. Like I say, all with us. Good.
Okay, you can unmute yourself now, sir. Please unmute yourself, sir. I think he's having issues with his network.
You are my and she's here. Can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead.
Dr. Saze, can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
You can hear me, right?
Yes, yes.
You can hear me?
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Now I will presume that I'm heard. So what the point is this. The point I am making is this. We should not dread online journalism. We should embrace it. It is for us. It is to enable us to, in fact, it has made our work easier, but it has also increased our responsibilities. There is need for training. There is need for ethical practice. There is need to ensure responsible journalism. Yes, Nigeria practices more of what you call Nigeria practices more of what you call a libertarian press. That is where you have almost absolute press freedom. You can just say or write almost everything and anything. But I want us to understand that those of us who are core professionals and those of us who are intending to become core professionals, they should also realize one fundamental fact, that charlatans, quacks, have invaded the space. and they are invading the space by occupying the social media. We need to fight them off. Not necessarily to monopolize the social media. No, we don't need to monopolize it. But we need to insist on how it has to be used so that our profession is not diluted to the point that journalists are looked upon as people who are part of the problem rather than being a part of the solution. This is very, very important. We have many quack journalists, and they are the ones dominating. The digital journalism space. We need to wake up to that responsibility. And those who are not journalists who are here with us this night, we are appealing to you to understand that the news, the dissemination of information, spreading news is not just enough. You need to be sure the news you spread is true. You need to be sure that the news you spread will heal and grow and develop the country. If Nigeria goes up in flames, you and I will not have the space to even practice any profession, including journalism. Finally, I want to also draw attention to the fact that, look, we have media laws. The media laws you have also affect media, digital journalism. Do not think that the media law you have is for only print journalists, is for only broadcast journalists. No, online journalists are also covered by the media law. And part of this media law is even the new law that has to do with a digital news regulation. One has been passed by the either 8th or 9th National Assembly. We need to read some of these laws because there is information you will pass. Such laws have provisions of the provisions border on things you call slander. Slander usually comes through a print. You have things you call defamation of character. When you issue any broadcast that tarnishes the image, damages the reputation of anybody, you can be held responsible. Some people have been convicted already, even in Nigeria, based on false information they passed across. There is this celebrity that was being dragged the other day. I can't remember her name now. Because of what she passed through the social media about somebody else. The person went to court. So if you think that online journalism protects you from being held responsible for things you write or say, it is not true. The defamation laws, slander laws, general media laws will be there to hold you accountable. That brings again to the fore what I talked about before, that we don't just practice because we are given the authority even by the Constitution, and we now wish away the aspect of the responsibility with which we need to exercise such authority. No authority is ever given anywhere without a measure, a commensurate measure of responsibility. So while practicing, remember you have the power to pass information across. But remember also that whatever you pass across, you can be held ultimately responsible. And it could lead to jail time if you are so careless to pass information that is false, you didn't double check. Now, part of the digital tools we have for digital journalism, a video that is passed to you, you have means of authenticating the veracity, the truthfulness of such videos now. You have a way, there's a tool for it. I will pass this tool to Osaze if he doesn't have it already, so that he can share with you. He can share with us. The tool is so fundamental that you can use it. Any video you see, you use the tool to know the origin of the video, the age of the video, the producer of the video. You know, let me give you one shocking example. The other day, not more than 1 week ago, I will also pass this video to Osaze, but it should not be distributed because it's fake. But I'm using it as an example. I saw a video where President Bola Tinubu was apologizing to Peter Obi that, sorry, the election was fake. It's not true. And this, in fact, you will believe because you will see you see Tinubu talking, you know, you now wonder how on earth were they able to fake the president's voice almost 100%. There are tools that do these things now. You see why you have to really double check. If you have a video that you suspect, you are not sure of the origin, go on, use such tools to find the origin. Do you know there are videos they circulate? There are pictures they circulate. They modify the pictures, modify the videos, and make them appear to be recent to address even an unrelated matter. A terrorist attack in another country will be made to look like a terrorist attack in southern Kaduna or somewhere in Imo State. You know, so, but if you run a simple check, you will discover that probably this is Somalia, that this is Afghanistan. And it will help you to, you can now pass the video and correct and say that this is not true, that this is not Nigeria, that this is Rwanda, this is Afghanistan. That way you are helping to kill the veracity of that fake news. But if you just forward it the way you received it, you are actually validating. You are validating that video, that fake news. Do you know that you have followers? Your followers believe things you send. Are you aware of that? Your followers, you know, when you hear about social media influencers are digital journalists in their own rights. People rely on them for information, for authentication of all sorts. So whatever they see from you, because they believe you, because they trust you, they follow you, whatever you send to them, they will accept it hook, line, and sinker. There is a danger there. You now see that you have a higher responsibility because you have people who will not run any check. They believe that you have run the check. So if you don't run a check and you pass the video, you pass the text message, you pass the picture, you have actually endorsed that information is accurate. So if you are picked up by NCC, by EFCC, the DSS, and all that, by the police, you know, you have to be held accountable because, yes, if you look at it, you authenticated the fake news, but you did that innocently. But how do you want the police to believe that you didn't know that it was a fake news? They will not believe you. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. I am emphasizing this because I know that the tool we have is enormous. It's going to take us to, in fact, it has already moved the practice of journalism to the next level. It has made us far more important, far more effective, but it has also increased our responsibilities. I will stop here. If I have questions, I will take them and expand further.
Okay.
Hello, Dr. Kaze, are you there?
Yeah, thank you so much. I was just being pushed to allow you to just go on and on and on and on. But you see,
thank you.
By time, you are a material that is loaded enough to take us through all the things, talking about digital journalism and journalism in general. Yeah, I will say all this. I think we've now gotten the basics and the foundation of what you need to know about journalism and digital journalism. This other area is very important for you to talk about before we take questions. Then the next thing we'll be moving on to public speaking guest. Yeah. I mean, a speaker here that will be talking to us. So I want to know how to become a journalist. Then, how lucrative is the job? probably why people can see it as a route to go into something. Can you become a self-employed journalist and all that? Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. This is a very important question. Yes, journalism has been invaded by all sorts to the point that real journalists are no longer proud to introduce themselves as journalists. This is not right. In all my writings, in everything I do, public speaking and so on and so forth, I make sure that I identify myself as a journalist. It's very important. There are other things I do, but my real original love is journalism. And everyone else can become a journalist. It doesn't really matter the profession, that you have acquired the certificates in, even in engineering, in medicine, pharmacy. We have people from all professions that have made their marks as journalists. What it simply means is that you have to be retrained. In other words, I am identifying training as the first thing you need. You need to train in journalism to practice it. I'll use myself as an example. I hold a PhD in social psychology. I also hold another master's degree in public administration. But I had to return to school to acquire a postgraduate diploma in journalism before I could consider myself a journalist, before I could even teach it and all that. You have to do the same. If you want to be a journalist, you have to come in through the door. Don't jump in through the window, because we will soon find you out as a quack and you'll be weeded out. You don't need to be weeded out. When within 6 months, you can get a basic diploma and become a journalist. But again, let me also tell you, even after acquiring a basic certificate, much of self-improvement is now required. If you want to be a print journalist, for example, you are into, you prefer writing than broadcast, you need to keep writing. You need to keep improving yourself. You just have to. There are writing tools that will help you to write well. Many writing tools, they are there, that will help you to write well. And these writing tools, I'm sure Osaze will help you have access to some of them. In other words, don't just rely on yourself alone. Get help, get training, get to be trained as a journalist, so that when you appear, even as a medical doctor, even as an engineer, you too, you can flaunt your own certificate as a trained journalist. Nobody will see you as fake or as a quack or as a charlatan. You can overcome this. You need basic training. And those of you who are in Abuja or Lagos, you have training institutions all over Nigeria. International Institute of Journalism has schools all over Nigeria, Kaduna, Enugu, Lagos, everywhere. Just look around. And like I told you, the basic diploma will take just about 6 months, and you are home and dry. So once you get that, you are right to go. But it is still not enough. You need practice. Practice means that you have to get help. Those who are into broadcast journalism, for example, are also expected to get the kind of help that those who are into print or writing journalism should get. You must have a way of getting assistance, because we are in school every day. We keep improving. We must keep improving ourselves, reading. Let me tell you why I say so. There was one writer that was asked, what is the best way to write? You know what he said? He said that the best way to write and get it right is to write rewrite, 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 rewrite. How many rewrites now? Nobody knows. What that means is that you can rewrite as many times as you can to make it as good as possible. Some materials are not publishable. But even if your works are not publishable today, they will become publishable tomorrow through practice. The other day I was going through my old files, and I saw some things I wrote 30 years ago. I told myself, I hope nobody read this, because it was so bad. It wasn't really good. That was 30 years ago. But today, I have written for all platforms in Nigeria, outside Nigeria, all. In fact, there is no newspaper worth its name in Nigeria that has not published me at least 20 times. It's through practice. You have to practice. And the same thing goes for broadcast journalists. You must practice. You just have to keep practicing. And there are aids to also help you. I'm happy we have an expert in public speaking here. She will tell you more about what it takes to learn to really speak. Nobody was born with all these skills. We acquired them, including herself, through training. You keep training until you become near perfect. Because for me, I don't believe anybody can attain perfection. Perfection belongs to God. But you can work hard enough and become good enough to be able to have the confidence to hold your own anywhere within Nigeria, outside Nigeria, because you know that you have something to offer. This is very, very fundamental. When it comes to the issue of how lucrative the practice of journalism is, like every other profession, journalism is a paying profession. It is. But for you to really get a good pay in any journalism assignment or role or job, you really have to be good, because the competition is stiff. Many qualified people, and the openings are not that many also. What that means is that it is up to you. It's up to you to improve yourself. You improve yourself to the point that you become competitive. You become competitive. When you become competitive, it means that you will be in demand. If they don't ask for you, you can ask for the job and prove that you can do it. But let me tell you the key. The key to really get out there is not by just walking into a newspaper house and saying, look, I can write. Look, I can. No, I have a degree in mass communication or in journalism. No, what an editor, a newspaper or broadcast house would want to see is what you can deliver. If, for example, I am on the panel to interview people who will come into such roles, I want to see things you have written. I want to see where you have written. And that is why it's good you try your hands. Send things out to newspapers. Let them publish you. Try to get freelance broadcast jobs here and there. Tell them, even if they don't have money, you just want a space. Just come, keep trying. From trying, they will recognize that you can. And of course, as you are doing so, you are also improving yourself. There is no substitute to practice. Remember this. Even if you don't remember anything that I have said today, remember this. There is no substitute to practice, because it is through practice you gain experience. And I have never seen a book titled Experience. I've never seen a book you buy and you see experience. No, experience comes through practice. You practice, you acquire experience. That is why I told you that a renowned writer said, you write, rewrite, 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 rewrite. And he ended the rewrite with ellipsis. Ellipsis means that the rewrite continues. And another writer also said that he has discovered that there are 3 ways to write the best story. They now asked him, everybody, everybody was so eager to hear the 3 best ways to write a story. He said his answer was that, unfortunately, nobody knows. Nobody knows. What that means is that you have to discover it by yourself. You must discover it by yourself. And when we talk about practice, practice doesn't stop with practice alone. You need to read. You need to keep reading. Read everything, anything at all, written in English. If you can understand French, anything, just read, keep reading. No knowledge is a waste. You will discover that such information you pick here and there will come handy when you are trying to write on Sunday. There is nothing as difficult as writing on a topic you know nothing about. It means you have to go and research from the scratch, and before you can, do you know, a good article can take a whole week. But if you are good at research and writing, you can write a good article in 30 minutes. Experts do that now. You will see experts will just write, within 30 minutes, he has come out with 1,000 words. With little editing, is good to go. He wasn't born like that. It is through practice that he developed such a skill. So you need to imbibe such. You know, a philosopher said that if I am seeing far, is because I am standing on the shoulders of masters. So you need to rely on masters. Get yourself a mentor. Find somebody. Who do you, if you want to be a print journalist, for example, who is your best feature writer, for example? Who is that person? How does he write? How can you become like him? You can, if you do what we call in social psychology, imitative or social learning. By learning from such people, you become better. But you must practice. It calls for resilience. It calls for discipline. It calls for commitment. It calls for investment. Nobody, in fact, until you walk through the mills, you will never become as good as those people you admire. If they tell you how far they have come, you will not believe it. That is why I told you that I practiced to write well since 30 years ago. So you can imagine. And even as we speak, I am still reading, trying to improve my writing to get it better, because each time I read, especially foreign magazines, foreign newspapers, I see better writers. So I need to read more. I need to read more. I need to improve what I am doing even today, so that my writing will get to be as good as theirs. Like we say in our local balance in Nigeria here, they no carry 2 heads. We can, all of us can, if we can put in the required effort. Dr. Saze, are you there?
Thank you very much, sir. We are so glad to have all this from you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, that was a very superb outing. Please, may I remind everybody here, and also quickly also remind our amiable and indefatigable doctor that we have students from Ghana, from South Africa, from several countries here, and it would be nice to also recognize their presence. Actually, this program is not a Nigerian program, it's an international program, and Dr. Mefo is a Nigerian and speaking from the Nigerian environment, which is used as a case study for everybody in Africa or other parts of the world to take a cue from. So you can domesticate whatever is telling you to your own original environment, and I'm sure it's going to be excellently useful to you. So please don't feel bad about the fact that he's not mentioning your country. So far, he can't even mention all the countries. He just needs to start from somewhere, and that's what we are doing.
Tell them they are acknowledged, all of them.
Yes.
And they can always reach me through you if they want to discuss further.
Yes. So we're actually going to be working with Dr. Mefo to see how we can groom young journalists that will be practicing with total ethics in the business of journalism, not what we have now, where everybody just, once you have keyboard and you have data, then you start spewing out a lot of things, regardless of the consequences or the impact. But we're going to work with Dr. Mefo so that we can help the government, the African government, the African people to bring out perspective that is excellently okay, that will portray us in the right perspective, that will also promote peace and unity, promote entrepreneurship and a lot of things. And I think with a personality like Dr. Mefo, we can achieve that. I will just take some few questions, just 3 or 4 questions. Then you will respond to those questions, then we can move on to public speaking.
I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Akami Henry, you have a question to ask, please. Please just take your question very, very precise, just a minute.
All right, sir. My name is Akami, calling from, I'm speaking here from Lagos, Ikeja, Adenu Jones. My questions are, one, the tools or application used to dictate the contents of the video. That's
Sorry,
my question.
the question again.
The name of the application or tools used to dictate the contents of the video.
Okay.
Or source of the information.
Yeah, the resource person actually mentioned that he's going to give us all that. And,
yeah, I'm going to pass that to Osaze to pass to you.
Yes, yes. No, we treated all that in the class too. Probably you missed it out while reading, but don't worry, all those things will be passed over to everybody. You will get it in the class. Yeah.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
A very important question he asked.
Yes,
because we need to really double check.
Exactly. Apotheri the poet.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I want to appreciate our facilitators. God bless you, sir. Please.
Thank you, my brother.
My question is this. I'm calling from Ibadan. My name is Apotheri the poet. My question is this. What are the available courses? For example, someone like me, I love journalism, but I did computer science education and library and information science in school. But I love journalism. I want to venture into journalism proper. But I want to know the available courses that is certified, that even I can join professional journalism so that I can go for as a part-time. That's my question.
Okay, over to you, to Dr. Mefo.
Yeah, initially I said something very important. You can join journalism from any profession, but you need retraining if you didn't train in journalism or mass communication. You have to be retrained. You have to be retrained in journalism itself. Journalism is a course. Mass communication is a course. The Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, has a training wing that is called International Institute of Journalism here in Abuja. In Lagos, you have NIJ, Nigerian Institute of Journalism. And if you go to, I'm aware that International Institute of Journalism has branches in more than 20 states. I believe they have something in Ibadan. And of course, if you don't find it outside the professional bodies like IIJ and NIJ, you will also find it within a place like University of Ibadan. Yes, they run such courses, short time, long term. So it depends on what you really want. What I will do for you further is to give your number to Osaze so you can chat me up. We can share more on this, okay?
Okay, thank you, sir. I'm very happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Apotheri.
Yeah.
Yes. Akoni Engelbert, you say you have a question?
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, my brother.
Thank you very much. I am Akoni Engelbert from Cameroon, based in Yaoundé.
Wow. Welcome, my brother.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. I would like to ask how one can incorporate skills of effective communication and journalism into digital entrepreneurship.
Wow, that's a very beautiful one. You know, so, when Osaze was introducing this course, he said that literacy now has been redefined. It goes beyond reading and writing or being able to calculate 1, 2, 3, what you call numeracy. That now we have added digital literacy. You have to, in fact, everything is going digital now. If you don't, no matter what shop you have, if you don't have the digital version, to be honest, you have not started. There must be a digital version of whatever you do physically. If you have any shop anywhere, you can multiply that shop by bringing it online, bringing it on the internet. And how do you do that? You need to learn the tools. There are marketing tools that you need to embrace. There are, if you go to the marketing tools that are available, I believe he also has them in front of him. I will also supply some to him so that he can add to his library if he doesn't have what I will say to him already. You have tools with which you go, with which you engage in digital marketing, for example. Those tools, for example, let me give you example with Uber and Bolt. I don't know whether the service is available in Cameroon, but it's a taxi a business in Nigeria.
Yes,
all they own is an app. They don't have a single vehicle. It's an app that they own. The app establishes a platform connecting taxi users and taxi owners. That's all they do. It's an example. It's an example of digital marketing, digital platforms where things really happen. Now, all they do is once the person that needs a Bolt, a taxi, calls a driver and he pays, they take a percentage. Somebody sits down in his office and making millions every day. So you discover that having one shop in Yaoundé is in fact, you are not doing yourself any good. That shop has to go digital. You need to get the pictures and videos of what those things are and upload them on platforms where people can see them. And there are platforms. You have Instagram, you have YouTube, you have Facebook, you have so many of them. Even basic WhatsApp is such a big deal now that if what you are doing really gets out there, people will begin to see. And what is even more important, they have a way of giving you what we call digital optimization. What that means is that even if you don't have the capacity to get the people to know who you are, there are helps. There are helps online, digital helps. They will pick up what you have submitted for a little fee and multiply the viewers, the number of people that will see it. So if, for example, your reach is just 1,000, with a little more money, your reach can be expanded to 10,000, 20, 50, 100,000. Out of that 100,000, supposing 1,000 out of the 100,000 become interested in what you are doing, you will discover that what you will sell in one day, you will not be able to sell it in 1 year in your physical shop. In fact, as we speak now, many people are even closing their physical shops. They don't need it anymore. I have friends who are now working from their homes. They don't need their offices anymore. Why? Because of digital media. Digital media has made it such that you don't need physical presence anymore. In fact, most of these online shops you see, they don't have physical goods. You will hear these, I don't want to mention names here now so that it doesn't become scandalous. But XYZ digital shop, you see it as a supermarket. They have nothing. When you order, a vendor will go and pick it from a real shop and deliver to you, and they'll take their money. Do you see how this thing works? So we need to think out of the box. I'm very glad that you keyed into this program and you are asking this question. Like I told my brother from Ibadan, connect Dr. Saze so we can talk about this further, okay?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much,
sir. Right, my brother.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for that excellent response. We've made a lot of progress, covered a lot of miles. For those asking if they can start journalism with this certificate, one thing I can assure you, or one thing I need to let you know is that we have almost everybody practicing journalism without a certificate. So you can imagine you with undergoing this training already, you are miles ahead of them. Then validating it with the fact that you went through a training like this, you have this knowledge, then you have a certificate to back it up. And in Laplage Metaverse, we don't encourage people to just go for certificates. In fact, we try to make sure that you do a test, and if you pass, you get a certificate. We rather advise people to get the knowledge. Now, if you have a background in medicine, this very training you just went through is enough to make you understand that, yes, I can be a journalist. Probably you've been wishing to be a journalist. Right now, after this training, there's no doubt that you cannot stand up and say, wow, I can start seeing myself as a journalist. With just this training, not even with a certificate yet. Then imagine you have this certificate attached to it, and you walk up to any place and say, I want to do an internship, I want to do a practical session with you. They'll ask you, do you have any background training as a journalist? You say, yes, I have. And verbally you say, I have. No certificate, no nothing. So there's no training, there's no certificate that is not useful. And though we don't like sounding off, but we have our students working all over the world with our certificate. And may I remind everybody here that employers no longer care where you come from. All they just want to know is that you have the skill, you have the expertise, you have the training, you have the knowledge, then you back it up with your certificate.
Dr. Saze?
Yes.
Dr. Saze, can I chip in something here?
Yes, yes.
Can I chip in something here?
Go ahead, sir.
Please, the class is quite rich. I just looked at the number of participants and discovered that we are over 500 here. This is one of the largest classes I have addressed, as far as I am concerned. This is a class, this is a school. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
This is a class, this is a school. What we are doing here is not a joke. It's teaching. It's teaching. That is what we are doing here. We are imparting knowledge. And certificate is evidence of the fact that you have passed through a particular training. This certificate should be able to earn you a place, because you are no longer an outsider to the profession. You have received something. Mm-hmm. Even though you will require further training, but you have received some basics, which has made you to be better than somebody who has not attended a course like this. So whether you can use it to get a job will depend on two factors. One is, will you be able to demonstrate in practice things we have taught you? Once you are able to do that, you get a job. I assure you of that. Because they will want to be sure that indeed you attended. So that's why I kept saying practice, practice, practice to gain experience. Once you do that,
unmute yourself, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you very much. This is a very hot program and hot topic. I can assure you that we are going to come back with this course in a bigger way with Dr. Mefo riding the horse this time around. And because every single person online today actually needs this training. because a lot of damage is being done online in the name of journalism or publishing or all manner of things. So I think this course is actually supposed to be made mandatory for everyone, particularly those of us in Nigeria and Africa in general. Okay, I will say that it is time for us to call it a day as far as digital journalism is concerned. And I will strongly advise that you participate in the public speaking class, which is going to last for the next 1 hour. For the next 20, 30 minutes, our guru in public speaking will be talking to us, and we have time to ask some questions. Okay. Madam, are you around? Thank you, Dr. Mefo. Excellently appreciate your time, your effort.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
And like I said, any student that has any further questions, to route the questions through you.
Okay, no problem, sir.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Mrs. Ikalo, are you around? You can unmute yourself, ma'am. Mrs. Ikalon, are you there? Are you there, madam?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you very much, and welcome to this program.
Thank you, sir.
Listening to you for 20 minutes or 30, talking about public speaking. Mrs. Ikalon is one of our trainers and facilitators. We are proud to have her in our midst. We've done excellently well in the class with the training on public speaking. So I think we've covered almost every area, but we need to put a face to it. And as you can see from her looks, you understand that she's actually a public speaker. And she's going to be telling us everything we need to know about public speaking in just 30 minutes. Over to you, madam.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Osaze. I am delighted to be here, everyone. Why public speaking? Public speaking is what I am doing right now. Imagine if I came up here with my hair scattered and maybe I have maybe wear my nightgown. How would you feel? So public speaking is a way of communicating your ideas, your thoughts to a public, to a group of people. And it starts with you knowing what you want to say and knowing who you are saying it to. So it is a skill that can be learned. As the former speaker said, not everybody was born with the skill of the gab, that is talking, ability to talk confidently. I never could speak like this many years ago. It was just 2015 that I started the process of learning how to speak confidently. As a young lady, as a teenager, I could not speak. Even during my career as a banker, for many years, I was still very timid. I rejected many office positions because I was scared. And that is why we are doing this class, to let you know that you need to communicate. As an individual, communicating is what you need to do. But now, communicating to a group of people, you need to know how to do it effectively. So public speaking is an art, A-R-T. And it is also an act, A-C-T. An art and an act of sharing what is in your mind, what is in your head, and the feelings you want to transfer to a particular group of people with the intention of persuading them, of informing them, of inspiring them, or entertaining them. I'll take it again. Public speaking is the intentional art or act of sharing your thoughts, your words, your feelings with a particular group of people with the intention of either you're persuading them, informing them, inspiring them, or entertaining them. That being said, now that we know that the meaning of public speaking, why is it that people are scared when they are called upon to speak? I want you to ponder. Look at the number of times you have been called to make a presentation without even planning for it. I believe that many of you would have been like, no, don't call me. No, we call the other person next time. But do you know that every opportunity you have to speak makes you master the fear of speaking in public? Do you know that just speaking, even though you are nervous, helps you to get feedback that, wow, the floor did not swallow me. The eyes looking at me did not melt my skin like ice cream under the hot sun. But I was able to do it. Yes. So why do we say public speaking? You have to learn public speaking, because for you to move ahead in your career, for you to get the promotion, the next promotion, it is the time of the year when people are having certain goals, and you should have one of your main goals as to be more visible, to be able to speak more about what you are passionate about. But this thing called fear, it still holds you back. I want to let you know that fear is not something to be scared about. Fear is actually a friend. I want to tell you today to see fear as a friend who just wants to keep you safe. It's just protecting you. And fear, the only thing that fear does is, Akoteri, you are not so conversant about the topic you want to talk about. Don't go. Don't go and share. Don't open your mouth, because you mess up. You embarrass yourself and everybody will laugh at you. But what you need to do rather is, let me even go back to all the notes that were shared on all our platforms about public speaking. Let me look at it very well. Let me even take notes and understand it. Let me look at it that, wow, everything they've said, I think I can do it. But public speaking, unfortunately, is not a theoretical thing. As I said, it's an act. That means it is a doing word. ACT, you must be doing, you must be speaking. That is where the fear comes up. I can speak to one or two people, my friends, but I don't want to get on that stage. I don't want to climb that place, all the eyes. I want to let you know that every speaker that you see on those platforms, they were once very scared. In fact, many times they are terrified. But you know what they do? They know that that speech is important to them. People trust them. People call them as experts to speak on any topic. So they ensure that they ask themselves some questions like, okay, so the people that they say I should meet, who are they? What level of knowledge do they have? If I know that they don't know anything and I'm the master there, I'll feel cool, because I'm going to teach them from scratch. I'll take them through the rudiments of what I'm talking about. But if there are people that know as much as I know, or know a bit, I'll have to do more research. I have to use those terminologies that will show that I'm also qualified to be the one speaking, even though there are professors there. But when they listen to me, they should still nod their head and say, well, very brilliant presentation. That means that public speaking, you must do some homework before you come out. To overcome fear of public speaking, you must know your subject matter very, very well. I love the fact that the doctor that just spoke talked about having a bit of knowledge about every single thing. The reason why many of us are not able to speak in public when we go to social functions is because we have no idea what they're talking about. We don't even know how to break the ice. We don't even know the protocols of, should I say hello? Should I say hi? Should I say good afternoon? We don't even know how to look into the eyes of the people and really engage. You just answer the questions and say, oh, hello, my name is Ikalo Udo. Hi, my name is maybe Abudu Idowu. Oh, really? Is this your first time in this class? Oh, yes, it is. Oh, really? It's also my first time. You don't know how to build a conversation. You don't know how to start a conversation. You don't know how to continue conversing with the person. And you don't even know how to close the conversation that you would even start talking to the person as if you've met the person for years, and you now become very comfortable. Because it is a skill, as we're taught in the other class, that you might want to have a coach, a mentor, somebody you can imitate. Look at the people that speak very well, that you love. How do they speak? They have this air of calmness, confidence, poise, well put together. They're not looking for the sheets on their paper and like looking for what next, because nobody has written their speeches for them. But do you know that even if somebody even writes your speech for you, there's a time when you need to practice and internalize your speech in such a way that you own it and you come out and deliver it brilliantly as if it was you that wrote it. Those are skills that can be learned. and it comes with practice. I want to charge you today, from this very moment, anytime you are being called upon to deliver an impromptu speech, never say no. Take it. Never say no. The second thing I want to charge you to do, anytime that you want to improve, look for opportunities to speak. So start with your family. Start by even saying, okay, today I'm going to be presenting to all of you. I think it's a presentation. They'll be laughing at you. Daddy, what is wrong with you? Why are you doing this? Start with the known. Let them give you feedback. You can even tell them to, oh, yeah, record me. I want to be the public speaking coach said I should present to you. So today I'm going to be present to you, family members. Gather them together. Let them laugh. That is your first stage. They will record you. Look at yourself. When you're shaking, you will not be shaking, and they're your children. The next thing, now maybe go to your office. And it's okay, you've never led a meeting before, but today I want to lead. It's Monday morning, I want to lead. See your way of coordinating the proceedings. It has to be organized. It has to be structured. The very first day you started, you feel jittery. It's not flowing. But you know what? Because you have started, you now know what you did not do well. Take notes and write the things you did not do well. The other manager who used to anchor the meeting, did you observe how the person used to present? The first thing the person said, the next thing and everything. Did you see how coordinated the flow? Why don't you record? Okay, the first thing is the prayer. The next thing is what happened last week. Coordination. Because your inability to coordinate your thoughts will make you scattered in your words, and you will not feel so embarrassed when they say, what are you saying? I did not really get what you said. But being coordinated gives you that confidence and relaxation that you've got everything covered. So you start from the opening to the body to the conclusion. During the class training, you learned about how to open your speech, where we taught about having a hook. Your hook could be a story. I believe many of you watched Obama's speech, the speech that made him win the election. You saw how relaxed he was. People did not really know him before that time, but he spoke in a conversational way. He looked at everyone that were there. He looked at people to the left. He looked at people in front of him. He looked here. He was very relaxed, and he shared personal stories. Sometimes just try to be vulnerable, because there's nothing new under the sun anyway. So if you're able to tell people that, oh, I never used to be a very good speaker, I learned it because I had great coaches, and you too can also learn it. And they'll be like, the way she's just talking, she's so good. Until 2015, I was not this good. I could not even speak to even save my life. So if I'm sharing with you now that I am now very confident speaking about anything, even without planning for it, it took time. And it took time because I always say yes to every opportunity given to me. And you know what else I do? I learn everything. All the courses that we learn under Laplage, I pay attention to every content because I never know who will call me. They can call me to talk about digital marketing. I should know a bit about it. They should call me about talking about mental health. I should know a bit about it. What about parenting? I should know a bit about it. So your ability to be current will give you the confidence to say, okay, if it's about mental health, I can talk about it. If it's about how social media affects the mental health, I can talk about it. If it's about being a parent, well, I have children, I can talk about it. But when you are not conversant, you say you don't like television. You say you don't go on social media. You say you don't want to do anything that is evil. And they now call you, you have nothing to say. How would you know what to say when they are when the news is being broken every time? You have breaking news. You know, there was something that happened over the weekend. There was a bomb dropped, drone dropped a bomb, and you go to a place and they say drone dropped the bomb. You say, where? Is it in Japan? You say, are you not in Nigeria? That's very embarrassing. But imagine being current and you've read about it in the news and you're able to contribute. And that can be a conversation starter. That can make you sound, very knowledgeable to people that you just met. And from this, what do you do? Well, I'm a management consultant. I train people. Wow, really? I also do trainings. But what I'll recommend you. That is how you start the conversation. So public speaking helps you to improve your communication skills. It also, learning public speaking also helps you to build your confidence. Confidence is known from your eyes. We all saw the video about the verbal and the non-verbal communication styles. I'm sure you have been observing the way I've been speaking since. You've been noticing that I did not just sit down, or I haven't just been sitting down and talking. You've noticed the way my head has been moving sometimes, my hands moving, my voice modulating. It has become my second nature because I teach these things almost every day, whereby I'm able to reflect, sometimes my body will move like this, because we can't say that, I can't even say it, it's just part of what it is. But you can also master it by practicing, but first of all, by observing. There's nothing wrong in copying or imitating something that you like, a broadcaster that you see, the way they raise their tone of voice and fall it down. Nothing wrong in it. And you also need to know that this public speaking is not just about the words you say. The tone of your words also very important. Your tone can change the meaning of your word. You can say, I am very, very tired. You can say, let me give an example. You can say, I am angry. I'm angry. Stop it, I'm angry. That sounds like I'm just playing with you, that you stop it, stop teasing me. But if I come and say, I am angry, stop it now, you know I'm very serious, because that did not look like somebody who is ready to play. So you need to know the message you want to convey. How do you want people to take it? You should know that your physical appearance, your facial expression, your eyes, your smile, are you smiling? The way you use your hands, is it tensed or is it relaxed? If you're supposed to stand in front of an audience, are you standing with your feet flat, facing forward, or are you leaning to one leg or the other? Sometimes some people put their hands in their pockets because they are trying to control their shaky hands. Sometimes they might clap their hands like this, right? But all those things, people can read nervousness in it, but you can just relax, right? Like now, I am speaking to you. I am not even looking at anyone, because I am looking straight into the lens of my device. And I'm looking straight into the lens of my device because I know the power of eye contact, that if I don't look into the lens, you will not see me as looking into your eyes. And that's the first way to assess somebody's level of confidence, when you are able to look into the eyes of the individual. But because I'm using the screen, I know that your eyes are through this lens. So I focus my eyes on this lens. However, if it's a physical live presentation, when you are in the audience, so I will be very mindful to ensure that I don't just focus forward. I should carry along people who are seated on my left side. I should look at them while I am saying a particular word, sentence, drop my thoughts there, then come back to the center to drop another point, then go to the right to ensure everybody in the room has been carried along and feel that I am connecting with them. Another way to even engage your audience, you can ask a question. It helps engagement, right? I asked a question. I said, how many of you watched the video that Obama spoke? I believe I should have some hands up. It was a live class. I will not just rush over it. I want people to participate, to respond, because if I don't get people to participate, they can be busy with their phones and not pay attention. Sometimes Obi Oku, I see your hand up. Thank you. You people are giving me feedback. You are telling me that you are paying attention, even without me asking if you are hearing me or not. So I'm delighted that you are giving me feedback. So you should know about your eye contact, very important. The next thing is about your calmness. Don't rush your speech. Sometimes some people just come up and just rush everything they have said. And the brain takes time to process information. So when you are trying to say something that is very, very important, there is no need for you to rush. For instance, if we're saying that, do you know that we have 8.1 billion people on planet Earth. Yes, 8.1 billion people. Did you notice that after I said that, I paused, I stopped? Being quiet is also one of the ingredients when it comes to public speaking. You should give room for your audience members to listen and take in what you have said, because your message is like preparing a sandwich or a burger. For a burger or a sandwich, you have the first slice of bread, the upper layer, which is like your introduction. Then the middle of the sandwich is where all the juicy details come in. That is the body of your speech. So if you're talking about the effects, negative effects of social media on man, your introduction could actually be talking, it could start with a story about how many people have died because of cyberbullying, or talk about a kid in Michigan who, because he did not have a phone, was able to stop a bus full of students because he was alert. He did not have any social media. Then you now go to the crux, the ingredients inside, when you talk about the negative effects of social media, whereby it has become an addiction, that if you send something on social media looking for likes, then that is now, you talk about different effects, inappropriate use of social media, and the solutions. You are bringing it down, wrapping it up. Then at the end, you should be called to action. What do you want people to do after eating your burger, after eating your sandwich? So I'm trying to give an illustration between how a speech should be. Preparing your speech is a very core part of public speaking. Public speaking is not what you just gamble into. It is intentional. It is deliberate. It is formal. You must use formal, polished English during public speaking. That does not mean that if you are speaking to people in the rural areas, you'll be speaking Queen's English. No, you should know your target audience. If you're speaking to people maybe the northern part and you want to talk to people to understand in their native dialect, nothing wrong with planning it in the native dialect, but it must follow the process. There must be something to get them, like the hook. It might be a story about people that have died from cholera, and you are there to build a borehole. But they will not buy it. They will not understand why people are coming from the city, or you rich men. But saying that you empathize with them, that somebody just died, or children have died because of cholera, how many students, how many children? So you have your statistics. You can say that according to the clinic in the community, 20 children died in less than 1 week. That is a very serious issue. So you will not dress up with all your glittering gold to go to that kind of community. You might want to dress up like how they are, which is also part of public speaking. Dressing is also important. So you go there in a sober mood with a very calm voice to talk to them about, about their problems. And you are bringing the solution of a borehole to their community. So they will not go and destroy it. Because if you don't carry them along, they will destroy it. So you can say that I'm giving you examples of how to make presentations to different types of audiences. So you need to know your audience. It's very important. You need to know your audience to know to know what to prepare. You need to know whether they are vegetarians, whether they don't eat meat, whatever kind of food they eat. In public speaking, you need to know how they want to receive the message. Is it in pidgin English? You need to know what time of the day they want to get the message. So all those background checks are done before you even get on the stage. So the opening, the body, and the conclusion. The conclusion should either be to persuade them to start doing something or to stop doing something, to inform them of what they never knew. So if for an informative speech, you have a lot of facts, statistics, research with quotes from wherever you're getting the information from. If it's to inspire them, maybe people have died or something has gone wrong, end of the year, people have not achieved their goals. So an inspirational speech would be like, don't worry, as far as you are alive, there is hope that a living A living dog is better than a dead lion. For heaven's sake, you can do better next year. Just plan out. So you can see the tone of voice for an inspirational speech. And an entertaining speech should have people laugh, should have them feel relaxed. So, and you can also mix all these elements. That is the P, I-E, persuade, inform, inspire, entertain. You can mix it up. That makes you a better presenter or public speaker. Then your conclusion. But that is now the preparation of your meal, which you are going to serve. Now, you have prepared your speech. I always recommend that you write it. You write it. Why do I say you should write? Because sometimes, if you just think that in your head, you know what you are going to say, when you get there, you'll be thinking, that is where you'll now be hearing pause fillers. I'm sure you have listened to so many people who will say, they are trying to remember what is not in their memory readily. But if you can write your speech from the very beginning, how your introduction would be, how the body will be, how the conclusion will be, you now have to read it very well. When you read it out, you will now notice that it does not make sense. Some things are not gelling. The conjunctions, the linking words are not so smooth. Or maybe you are just putting and so, and so, and so. When there are alternatives like then, afterwards, you would have to say, I've been saying and so, and so, and so. No. There are other conjunctions I can use. So you see why it's good to voice it. That is during the practice. You will now read it out. You now adjust what you want to adjust to ensure that the objectives of that speech is being met. Then you now need to practice in front of someone. You get somebody in your house to record you and deliver your speech. First of all, if you are going to deliver that speech, you will first of all be using your scripts because you've not yet mastered it. So I'll teach you how to master your speech. So the first paragraph, make sure they are in paragraphs. The first paragraph, you should know the summary of the first paragraph. What is that key thing in the first paragraph that you want to say? Okay, for the first paragraph, I want to start with a story. So you know the story because it's your story, maybe your personal story. Okay, what's the next thing? I want to tell them the reason why they are here. I want to tell them the importance of public speaking. So for me to do that, I want to tell them how somebody went for an interview and was shaking and lost the job, even though the person was the most qualified. That would drive home the point. So they can pay attention that, well, you need to learn this skill and master it. So you will now be visualizing what you want your audience members to feel, how you want them to receive your message. So it's like acting. So I said it's an art, A-R-T, and also an act, A-C-T. So the art part is now the style, how I will dress them, what I will say first, but the ACT is the actual word. So once you have now done the practice, the person has recorded you, you collect your phone and you watch yourself. Many people are scared to watch themselves. They're like, I don't want to see myself, I don't want to hear my voice. You will face it, it's your voice. You will not be forcing us to hear you when you have not heard yourself. So you will embrace yourself before you reveal yourself to the world. You have to let it. So you watch your video and you don't like the way your head was down. Why are you doing? Why are you holding? So people will be doing their finger, tapping their body without knowing. Those are mannerisms that you need to watch. But you cannot correct it if you do not see it. So you need to watch yourself and say, okay, I'm doing this. Maybe your neck is always bent. So people don't know. They are bending their neck and they're talking. They need to see it. So you now say, okay, then you now keep doing it over and over until it comes out right. And let this person be someone that you have told that I have this challenge and I need to overcome this challenge. So the person is your partner in progress in case you cannot hire a coach. So you get that and you now watch it and like, okay, I think I have improved. But to memorize your script when there is no light, if you go to a function and the projector is not working and there's a power cut, is it that you will stand and be tapping the table now? Where is the projector, generator? Is it not coming on? You don't need to do that as a professional speaker. You should have everything in your head. You're the one that wrote your speech, isn't you? You are the one. So what should you do? First paragraph, close your eyes and try to picture what you wrote. Excuse me. Second paragraph, after this comes next. That's what you do until you get the first, the second, and the third. Now, try and memorize the first paragraph, second and third very well without looking at your script before you go to the fourth. If you can do that, excuse me, if you can do that, you realize that with time, as you are speaking about it, you're not saying everything that is on your script. You are changing your words, but it is okay. Excuse me. Just be comfortable that the main point in paragraph 1 has been said. The main point in paragraph 2 has been said. Excuse me. If you are able to say your speech like that at home over like 10 times a day, when you get to the venue, I always recommend you carry a backup of your printed out speech, or you can have it on your phone just in case, but be confident that you have done your homework. Because sometimes when you get there, the dynamics might change. Some things might not go as you have planned or as they briefed you. It should not throw you off balance. You might find out that if you have like 5 speakers, some of the speakers that have gone before you might have said exactly what you put in your slide. So does it mean that you will not talk or you will go and say what people have already heard? You have to be versatile. You have to now say, okay, according to my colleagues who spoke before me, they spoke very well. However, you now add another aspect. That is why I always recommend, if you are given like 10 minutes to make a presentation, prepare as if you are going to be speaking for 1 hour. It's always better to be over-prepared. It gives you this air of confidence. Yes, I've got anywhere you bring it, I'm okay. Because after the presentation, you will sit down for Q&A. It's not for you to la cram, la pour. You just cram. I say, thank God, I'm going to pour it out. No. Some people that are there might be more intelligent than you. There might be professors there, experts in that area, practitioners. So that is why you have to read wide. So wherever the darts of questions come from, you just sit down and say, okay, yes, according to this, yes, according to that. So you have to be knowledgeable about so many areas. It will help you. So it will help you with your confidence level, So I think I've said a lot so far. I don't know if anybody has any question before I continue, because that's one thing about communication, public speaking. You don't just ramble. You give some time to people to give you feedback. So I think it is time for me to get Mr. Osaze to ask me what people are saying in the chat room so I can know what direction to move from where I am right now. Any questions, please?
Okay, thank you very much, madam. So far, so good. We've been getting excellent feedback from people in the chat room, saying a lot of good things about the presentation so far. And
okay,
I want to start the question session by asking 1 or 2 things. Now you've talked to us about public speaking. I want to ask if public speaking can be taken to be a profession. And if you say yes, how do one become a public speaker, making it a profession?
Okay, being a public speaker as a profession, you need to be trained. And that is what I do through the Africa Public Speaking Academy. We have an academy where we train. That is our vision, to make people become masters in their area. Everybody needs to speak about what they are doing. The architect needs to speak about what they are doing. The engineers, everybody needs to be a public speaker. It is a disservice to yourself to go to school to learn all you have learned, and they call you to defend your brilliant idea, and you are shaking, and you are scared, and you are calling the junior staff to go and make the presentation. Who did that thing? You were the one that did it. So why are you scared? Well, I've told you that everybody feels some fear, and fear is not supposed to stop you. Fear is just giving you feedback that you need to get more information. So public speaking is a skill that can be learned, just like riding a bicycle. So everybody can be a professional public speaker in their profession. I don't know as much as you know as an engineer. So I will not be so confident to speak about engineering on any engineering summits. Medical doctors here, don't say that, no, you don't talk to, in fact, you know that you talk to clients, because when they come into your office, one-on-one, you meet with them. But if you are called for a seminar for doctors, international platforms, can't you go and talk about medicine, Nigerian medicine in Kenya or any country? That is what the APSA group is all about, connecting professionals in Africa and beyond to be very effective communicators. We are going to be doing practical sessions because we have realized that public speaking is not a theoretical thing. It is an action. You must be speaking. So if you can join the APSA community where we have practical sessions, seminars, conferences, you are in the best place to keep honing your skill and being, get the platform to get better as a communicator.
Okay, thank you, madam. We would like to take some questions. Yeah, Daniel, over to you. Please, let's make our questions very brief so that we can take as many as possible. Daniel, over to you, please. Unmute yourself.
Unmute. Okay, that's fine. My name is Daniel. I'm calling from Ghana. I'm speaking from Ghana. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, loud and clear. Over.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you, Madam Presenter and Doctor as well. I have two questions. The first one has to do, I heard Madam Presenter saying that if you are given 10 minutes as a speaker, you should prepare as if you are given 1 hour. I don't know whether I'm right. That's what I heard, if it's right.
Yes.
Okay, now, before I heard that, I think I had an opposing view. I don't know how you're going to convince me on that, because I feel that when you decide you have more than the allocated minutes, it might make you not be able to tackle what you are supposed to tackle. So I don't know whether if you can elaborate on that statement you made further for me to understand. And the second one is, assuming you are done with your presentation or your speaking, and let's say that what we call know your audience. I also believe that your audience will also do, I call it audience profiling. So sometimes your audience will also want to know the speaker. So they will also profile the speaker. So assuming you finish with your speech and one audience asks you a question that is sometimes is self-touching, and you feel that this question is actually opening you up, can you decide not to answer that question as a speaker? Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay, for the first question you said, I still stand on what I believe.
Okay.
As a professional speaker, let me explain.
Okay.
You have 5 minutes to make a presentation.
Okay.
You should prepare very well. Prepare wide, do your research wide, then compress the points. The points should be, you should have an introduction, body, conclusion for 5 minutes. But your mind, overcoming fear of public speaking, your mind is telling you that you are well prepared. It's a psychological trick to the brain to tell you that no matter how this thing goes, I know so much, but the time I have is fine. But I will streamline the points I have. In case I have like 20 points, I'll just mention 3. But I've crafted my introduction, what I will say. I've crafted my body. I've crafted how I'm going to conclude. If I am given that same topic for 1 hour, these same points are what I'm going to say, but I'll give more examples, case studies, elaborate on them more. So I'll just draw it longer, say more things. Why I said that is, I have found many times that fear comes when you are not well prepared. But I'm saying trick your brain that Ikalo, even if it's a field that you are not so conversant with, I have so done the research that even the experts know that I've done it very well. That is the reason why I said, do the long research, just to make you walk on that stage that you've not left anything undone. Like I did an exam. You have a whole textbook, you only read 2 chapters. Try and touch every part, so that if they ask you 5 questions, even if you're able to touch like half of each, you have gotten marks, and answer only 2. And that is why I said to trick your brain to get it. Then the second question you asked was, what did you even say the second time? Sorry, help me, Daniel. What did you say? The second question.
Daniel, unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, okay. The second question, can you hear me, please?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, what I said is that assuming you are, after you finish giving a speech,
okay,
you know, under normal circumstances, the speaker does audience profiling or knowing your audience. The same way the audience also do profiling on the speaker as well. So assuming you finish with your speech and it's question and answers time, and one of the audience ask a question that is self-touching, it touches your inner part, and you feel that answering it might actually give you up or open you up. Can you decide not to answer that question?
Of course, you have a right not to answer. You know, you could just say that, well, I wouldn't like to answer that question right now. Yes, we see many celebrities, many people. It's your right. It's your right. You can even choose to answer something else. So they can ask you a question, but you can choose to just push it into another area just to ensure it slides. And in fact, the moderator would even be able to catch it, and the moderator, whoever is anchoring it, should help you if you're on the panel, to like shift it away and like, okay, no further questions, next. You cannot go and snatch the microphone that your question was not well answered. You know, that is PR. Yes, fine. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Daniel. We'll move on to someone else. I will be talking to Audu J. Kate. Audu J. Kate. Audu J. Kate, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Just 1 minute, please. Or 30 seconds.
Please, how do you overcome fear, even when you know the subject topic? And then how do you balance presenting with a slide and balancing looking at the slide and looking at the audience? Thank you.
Over to you, madam.
Okay, thank you for those questions. The first one is, how do you overcome fear? And even though when you know your topic, you need to practice. I'm going to say it again because that is the main problem professionals have. They are very good, but they can't imagine going in front of people. I say to everyone that talks about fear that fear is not supposed to stop you. Fear gives you feedback. Fear should be seen as a friend who wants to protect you from embarrassing yourself. Imagine you want to go out and there's a lion outside, and fear just says, don't go. And you're like, no, I want to face the lion. No. You know, you're protected. That is what fear does. That is how I've demystified fear. Fear just tells you that, Ikalo, hey, these people are expecting a lot. You're going to have a minister there. The governors are there. Can you stop? But what should you tell fear? Tell fear that thank you so much for caring so much about me, for protecting me from being embarrassed. But I want to do this because it's going to help my career. I need to go and present in front of my board. I'm not going to send my assistant anymore. So what should you now do to convince fear not to sit on your head when you want to go? You have to go back and burn the midnight candles and research and work on yourself and get a coach and tell a friend that this is so important to me. My appraisal for promotion is coming up and I need to face the panelists. All the directors are there. I'm scared. What will they ask you? Professional work? You are very good. Go and research more. What else? So your friend will now be, you have to start thinking of the likely question that they will ask you. But do it to someone that knows that you need, this is very important to you. That's why you get a coach. And the person will hold your hand and say, first of all, dress confidently. Dress well, smell nice, go there early. If you go there late, you'll be nervous. Go there early, be friendly, be calm. when they call you in for the panel, don't sit down. I'm telling you different ways where we get scared. Fear is not supposed to stop you. Fear has been seen as, hey, fear, glossophobia, fear of the tongue, but it is actually protecting you from being embarrassed. So you should see that, oh, fear, thank you for caring this much about me. But you know what, fear? I have taken the course. I'm going to watch all those videos again. I'm going to practice what she said. I'm going to take every opportunity of speaking. I will start from the little things. I will start from my living room. I'll go to my religious body and offer to speak in a place where they're not going to judge me, where there's no appraisal. I'll just be speaking, but I have an intention to overcome you, fear. Once you keep doing that, then you go to your office and you do it and you tell somebody to help you. Before you know it, the fear will start fading. It's not be so dark. That darkness, it will start fading. It will start become gray. Gray. Before you know it, you will see yourself speaking because you are the expert. Who else can talk about these things than you that knows it? But you just allow a concerned party called fear to hold you from achieving your goals, from being that best person, that celebrated person. I used to be like that before. So I'm telling you from my experience. Now, anybody that asks me for any opportunity to speak, I say yes. But I go back and I don't sleep. I work on it. I work on it. And when I now appear, people say, oh, thank you so much. You know what that does to me? If you've ever watched that game where that thing I used to eat a coin, the more platforms I speak, the more confidence I build. To gain that confidence, you need to keep speaking. There's no remedy. There is no remedy. You must go out and do it afraid and come back and correct what you did wrong. Until you master it, you keep speaking. Then the second question you said was, what did you say the second time again? Second question was, she said,
yes, ma'am. How do you balance?
Second question, madam.
If you are presenting with a slide.
Second question.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Oh, presentation skills. Beautiful. Yeah. Take note of this. You must never back your audience. I'm giving you the answer. This is how you stay. When you are facilitating a session and you have slides, you must never go in front of the projector lights because you are not transparent. So you'll be blocking them. So you stay away from the slide so that they are seeing the slide. And as much as possible, you are not supposed to be looking back at your slide. You're supposed to be looking at your audience.
Okay, I think there's a network glitch here. Let's be patient. She's going to come back. She's been taken out by a network. Just give her some few minutes. I'm sure she's going to reconnect back. Okay, I think she's back now. So welcome back, madam.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. So let me quickly round up. What I was saying is that when you are presenting your slide, you should have your laptop or a device where your slides are. You should have it in front of you. So this is my presentation, but it's being projected by the back here. So what I should do is I should be looking at my laptop in front of me, while I'll be using my what they call that controller, as I'm speaking to my slides, you are seeing what I'm saying. So when I'm looking forward, I'm also looking at people's mannerisms, whether they are following, but because I am projecting from the front of me, I know what you are looking at, so I should not look back. One very important thing to note as a presenter is that you should never turn your back on your audience. Even if you enter into the aisles where people are seated, if you want to go back, try and use your back to like walk back out until you get to the stage. It's a skill, but you're not supposed to turn around and walk. They should not see your back. You should be talking to your audience. I hope I've been able to answer your question. I hope it's got answered.
Yes, ma. Thank you very much, ma.
Okay, thank you, madam. We'll call on Uchenna John Chukwuka. Unmute yourself, please.
Thank you so much for this wonderful training.
Yeah, I can barely hear you. Your voice is very faint.
All right. So I'm appreciating you for this opportunity. I hope my voice is clear now.
Well, we'll just manage to see. We'll strain ourselves to hear.
Okay. So my question is concerning digital communication and team management for managers. It was left out of this Zoom meeting. And my question personally is there any other additional training on digital communication and team management for managers?
Your question is not very clear.
Hello?
Yeah,
Can you
okay.
hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm asking about digital communication and team management for managers.
Yeah.
It was left out of this Zoom meeting. Now I'm not asking whether you have additional training on digital communication and team management for managers or any other day for the Zoom meeting for it.
Well, if you notice, we've been talking about communication all through. One. Number two, if you also noticed, you actually were in the same class where you had public speaking and digital journalism. And if you check around these three topics, they are all intertwined, talking about management and communication. So we've been talking communication all through. So if we go into a different session for digital communication, we might most likely be repeating all the things we are doing here. And when I started this program, I started by talking about digital communication and team management. I just talked about digital communication being what everybody needs to be part of. You just need to know digital communication, no matter where you are working. And I mentioned even the fact that even native doctors today communicate digitally. Everybody needs to know how to communicate digitally. I mentioned it. So it was the first thing that we talked about here in this program. And if you understand that concept, you will not even wait for it to be separated and talked about separately. You will see yourself communicating digitally in every single angle of every single point of your life, whether with your children, in an organization, in your church. Right here, we are communicating digitally. And without being able to communicate digitally, you might not be able to function in any given position, whether in your office, wherever you are, you can't function. So we've been discussing digital communication all through. As a journalist, you cannot communicate digitally if you don't have these digital tools to be able to communicate. If you are communicating with the populace or with the people that are going through your write-up as a journalist, you are communicating and you are managing emotions, you are managing the peace in the society, you are managing so many things at the same time. So it might not necessarily be restricted to your office. I don't know if I'm making any point. Yeah, so see digital communication as an everyday and everywhere thing, then you will get the point about digital communication. However, I still recommend that you take your time to go through the materials again. And we always encourage our students to stay close to us because every day new things come up about every single topic that we offer. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I will stay connected. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Just one more question and we'll say good night. Tarila. Okay. Dr. Mary Aswe Adewale. I'm calling you because I can see your video. I can't see Tamirila's video. Okay, unmute yourself, madam.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. Good evening.
Good evening, madam.
I appreciate this teaching, and it's something that it has been very impactful. However, in communication, you know, there are other aspects of communication, and I want to find out about communication with people that have speech defect, like stammerers. If there's going to be any special teaching for it, because it's important that as you're communicating, effective communication takes place when there is effective listening. And to listen to a stammerer, it takes God's grace before you'll be able to get what the person is saying. So I think I'm suggesting if it can be taken as a topic as well for us to be able to get the best out of those who have that speech defect. Thank you.
Okay, over to you. Is it Carlo?
Okay, thank you for that question. Well, I've dropped the link for the Africa Public Speaking Academy. In that group, we actually we have an opportunity for people to share their various challenges. That is the arm that that handles different people's needs, communication needs, if it is writing, if it is certification, whatever it is. So you need to join APSA and you need to fill the form for you to tell us exactly what it is. And I want to assure you that stammering is something that can be cured because I used to stammer as a child. So if you can hear me now, I'm just a testament of what the process has been. So join the group, and there we'll take it up from helping people with different communication needs. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, madam. I never knew you were a stammerer, but it's good to know that no longer one. Well, it's also good to know that if you're a stammerer here, you stand a chance to surmount that hurdle. Before I drive towards concluding this program, I want to say something here. Next time you're on our program, please, except you are permitted to, do not share a link. Except the presenter, this is Ikalon, Dr. Mefo, myself. Nobody is permitted to share links. It's wrong to come to people's platform and be sharing links. It's wrong to come to people's platform and be sharing information and leading others somewhere else. It's very wrong. I don't want to say mislead, but whether it's going to be misleading or not, it is wrong in the first place. If you are doing that, just know that you'll be permanently banned from our programs. And if you have any important information to share, it is proper you talk to the admin and they'll look at it and know how to pass it across to the participants. Having said that, I want to say that this program has been very useful, very enlightening. Personally, I've gained a lot too, listening to the speakers. And I want to say that I remain their followers as I learn from them every day. I'm sorry I might not be able to take questions from everybody, but I can assure you that we care about every single person here. And for those of you that want to join any of the associations, you don't need to bother yourself. As soon as you are getting your certificate, it will come with an email notification carrying the link to join the group. And then even for those that are not going to get a certificate, but it is better you get the certificate and join the group, because even in the group, we have layers and categories. So I'm sure you don't just want to be nobody there. So, and you get all the information you need to join the group. You also meet up with Dr. Mefo, talk about digital journalism. If you plan to become a journalist too, that will be an opportunity for you too. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of this program. It was nice sitting down here, listening to you, and also you listening to me and listening to the guest speakers. I want to believe that it has changed a lot in our lives, and it will make us better off tomorrow and after now. Please feel free to go back to your class, take your test, make payment for your certificate. And if you are putting your email, please don't put a dot after your email. Don't leave anything before the first letter, and don't start with a capital letter except if that's how your email was created. Please create an email, register it, test it to be sure that it's working. We have several cases of people complaining not getting certificates, which is beyond us. Once we process it and issue it, we cannot tell if it has gotten to you or not if your email is not correct. So please do your part by testing your email. Don't be too sure. And if you're in your class, also know that you can't get a certificate without taking the test. Yeah, you can't get a certificate without taking the test. And the earlier you make your payment for a certificate, fine, so that we don't have a situation where we have to start begging to pay later on. And finally, let's also let you know that getting your certificate is optional, it's not mandatory. Getting the knowledge is mandatory for us. Get the knowledge, imbibe it, know it, equip yourself with it, and go and look for a place to do an internship to get the practical exposure of that knowledge you've gained. However, a certificate will further validate your learning. That's all I need to say. Thank you very much. God bless you all, and see you in class. And we'll start issuing the certificates from tomorrow. And so once you make a payment, please just take note of your teller and your score. Screen grab your score and get ready to get your certificate tomorrow. God bless you all. Yeah. And one more thing, we're going to send a recorded version to the class, please. Yeah.
Good night, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you,
sir.